Okay, let's look at positioning slide elements. I found that this section of the chapter was pretty interesting. It had some tips and tricks that I had not used before. So I think it would be good to listen to this part of the lecture so that you can learn how to align shapes using some of the methods taught in the book. We are on page 2, PowerPoint 2, 38. So first of all, it wants us to display the drawing guide. So if I look at my View tab, in my Show area, I have a ruler, grid lines, and guides. I'm going to go ahead and check the button for guides, and you'll see I get 2, a vertical and a horizontal guide that pops up on my screen. It also wants me to go ahead and show the grid lines, so I'll check this box. This also helps me in aligning. And then the ruler, puts a ruler on the top of the slide and on the side of the slide. We'll use all of these components to place our shape. If you hover over the horizontal guide, you'll see that your cursor changes to a 2-headed arrow. And you can click and drag that guide to a specific location. In this case, I want to drag it to 3 inches below the center. So if I start going below, you'll notice that the number on my guide changes. And if I go 3 to the 3, that's 3 inches below the center. And then I want to come up and grab my horizontal guide, get my 2-headed arrow, hold down my mouse button, and drag it to 5 inches to the left of the center and let go. Once I do that, you can see where my 2 guides cross down here. So now, if I take my trapezoid, I get a 4-headed arrow, hold down my mouse button, and drag the trapezoid so that the very corner of it is lined up with where my smart guides are crossed. Then I know that I have that in the right location. Then I'll go ahead and drag my vertical guide to 2 inches left of center. So here's my 2 inches. I leave my horizontal guide right where it is, and then grab my oval shape and position it so its lower left corner touches that corner of the guide. So you also have to envision this is a circle, but envision that it is a square so that this is actually the corner of my shape right here. And then I'll go ahead and drag this guide to 2 inches to the right of center, and then do the same thing with my trapezoid here. Corner of my trapezoid where the horizontal and vertical guides line up. Now, I'll select my left trapezoid. I'll hold down my control key so I can do my oval and my right trapezoid. Let go of my control key. And then on my Drawing Tools Format tab, I'm going to look in the Arrange area. There is one button that's an Align button. And in this case, I want to click on it, and I want to choose to align these objects to the slide instead of align to each other. So I'll choose Slide there, and then I'll come back to that Align button. I'll click it again, and this time align to the middle of the slide, because Align to Slide is selected. When I choose Align Middle, it will align to the middle of the slide. I'm going to click on that button one more time and take a look at the difference between Align Center, that aligns the object horizontally, and Align Middle, that aligns them vertically. We talked a little bit about the difference between center and middle in Excel, and here it is again. So now I'll come down and click on my arrow, and I'm going to drag my horizontal guide to 3 inches above the center. So that would be here. And the vertical guide needs to go to 6.6 inches left of center. Let me find my vertical guide. 6.6 inches, which is pretty much the edge of the slide. And then I'll take my arrow and drag it up so its upper left corner touches the intersection of the vertical and horizontal guide. So you can see this is the upper left area of it, and it is touching right there. Now let's look at how to flip a shape. So with the arrow selected, if I go to my Drawing Tools Format tab, in the Arrange area, there is the option to flip. So I can flip this shape vertically, and that turns it so it's going the other way. I can also change the stacking order of the shapes. If you notice right now, this green arrow is going behind the trapezoid, but then on top of the oval and the other trapezoid. So when you arrange the stacking order, you actually change what is laying on top of what. So with that arrow shape selected, we'll go to our Drawing Tools Format tab in the Arrange area and look at my Bring Forward, Send Backwards options. I'll click on the Send Backwards, and I want to send it to the back, so it's in the back of all of the other shapes. Finally, I want to group my objects so that these 4 shapes are considered one whole object. So I'll display my Home tab and click in the editing area, click the Select a button and select all. And then on the Drawing Tools Format tab, in the Arrange area, there is a button that allows you to group those as one big shape. Now I want to add some other shapes. So we've already done this once. I'm going to go through it pretty quick this time to add more shapes. If you remember, you can use your Home tab Shapes option or your Insert Shapes option to insert your shapes. We want the moon shape. We want the punched tape shape. And we want the sun shape. Then I'll select all 3 of those shapes by holding down my Control button and clicking. And on my Drawing Tools Format tab, I will look at Styles and select the Light 1 Outline Colored Fill Green Accent 2. Now I'll resize my shapes. So we'll start with the moon shape. Let me click off of all of them and then select the moon. And on my Drawing Tools Format tab, I will type in the dimensions of my shape. 1.5 for the height, 0.8 for the width. The banner needs to be 1.5 for the height and 6.5 for the width. I'm going to click and drag that up a little bit so it's on my slide. And then the sun needs to be 1.5 for the height and 1.5 for the width. Now I want to align my banner so the left inches is 3 inches from the center. So that's where I come back and grab my horizontal grid line. There it is. 3 inches from the left of center. So I'll put that there. And the lower one needs to be 3.5 inches below the center. So that's here, 3.5. There I can see where they cross and align my tape. Then the moon, I'll click the moon and I want to bring that forward. So Drawing Tools Format area, bring to the front, and then align the moon so the right edge is 2 inches left of center. So 2 inches left of center. And then the sun needs to be 2 inches right of center. Now, this is new. We are going to merge the shapes. So I need to select all 3 shapes. So I'm holding down my Control key as I'm clicking on them. In my Format Tools, the Insert Shape area, there is the option to merge. This is the Merge button. And it wants me to merge by combining. So I'll choose Combine, and it will combine that. And now I need to type on this shape. So I'll click on it and start typing. And after thermostat, I want a enter. There we go. Now let me go up and hide my grids and my grid lines. So I'm hiding everything on the View tab Show area. I'll hide that. On slide 5, I want to go ahead and change the font size of this to 20 points, 24 points.